Hello and welcome to Carmen Miller's Talk of the Town, Carolinas. I'm your host, Patti Mercer, getting ready to sit down with the Mayor of Tega Cay, George Sheppard, to get the scoop. Mayor Sheppard, so nice to have you here.
Oh, it's great to be here. It's always great to sit and talk with you, Patti.
Oh, well, same. Back at you, my friend. When we look at Tega Cay, there's a lot going on. I mean, just to drive into Tega Cay, on the right side, we see land being moved. We've got Hubert Graham Parkway, and then you've also got wildlife. So from your perspective as mayor, what do you feel tops that list of concerns with residents in Tega Cay?
Well, one of the things that the residents of Tega Cay need to realize is that there's the county that also plays a role in what happens in Tega Cay. Not all the development that's happening just outside of Tega Cay is Tega Cay. That's the county. You know, the two new apartment houses or two new apartment that are going up and the townhomes that are going up, those are the county. And those were approved, I believe the apartments were approved almost 5 or 6 years ago. That's where old McHale's was. And that was when another county councilman was there. But the townhomes that are going in between the Sim building and the burned out building that's over there in the county, those were approved recently by the current council.
Okay.
So it's, you know, you need to understand that that happens outside of Tega Cay's purview or ability to do anything about it. As far as what we have developments going on in Tega Cay, you know, if you go down Dam Road and Gardendale Road, you're going to see a new over 55 patio community that's going in over there, which is age targeted, which is what we wanted to do because we have a lot of our residents who are living in the historic section of Tega Cay who can no longer live in those big houses anymore, and they want to stay with their friends, they want to stay with their family, so they're going into more patio home kind of things, and that's what's going on in the Cadence area on Gardendale Road there.
Okay. Now that is also an area that gives you a lot of land for development. Do you think the misconception with residents in Tega Cay sometimes is maybe not really understanding where the York County unincorporated areas are and where the city of Tega Cay is responsible?
That's definitely part of the problem, and you know it would be nice if the county and the city would talk more and understand what's going on. Again, going back to that apartment building behind McHale's, we didn't find out about that until after it was the second read at the county. And you know, I'm calling the county councilman at the time saying, no, don't do that, we need to talk. But they approved it anyway, and it went forward.
And how many are we talking? How many apartments?
I don't know the answer to that because
but it's going to be an impact on.
It's going to be a huge impact on the city of Tega Cay. Just getting out of Tega Cay on Gold Hill Road is going to be a huge impact.
Absolutely. Now you work very closely with the city of Tega Cay, and the council votes on smart growth and what is in the best interest. How do you feel that this council is doing in terms of the decisions that have been voted yes to?
I think this council is a little splintered right now. We have those who are more seasoned on the council who are looking at smart growth and opportunities for the city, and then we have others who don't think we need any more growth in the city. Growth is going to happen. It's inevitable. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's the smart growth that comes along. You know, we had the Windhaven project where he came in and he wanted 1,000 homes, and the city said, no, that can't happen. You can't do that. And it got whittled down to the amount of homes he wanted to put apartments in there. We said no. So it went to townhomes and some patio homes. But the city can do that.
Right.
And the city can make those things happen. It's the same thing with the Cadence property. You know, the city of Tega Cay annexed that property in to be part of the city, but part of that, I guess, the other side of that is we were able to find ourselves a facility for our cellulose fiber dump. You know,
Gotcha.
Which was property that we owned that was in the county, that we were able to trade him for a piece of property that was closer to the city so that we could do our cellulose fiber dump, which is going to save us thousands of dollars over a long haul. It's not a fix tomorrow. It's a fix that's going to continue to happen over the next 20, 30 years. And that's what growth has to plan for, is the next 20, 30 years. It's not what's going to happen tomorrow. It's what's happening forward. You know, Patti, you mentioned RFATs. You know, I sit on the RFATs board. I was the chair last year. I'm no longer the chair this year. But one of the things that I've been harping on the RFAT side is we need to look at the millennial generation.
Oh.
The millennial generation is
different.
up and coming. It's a different generation. They don't want to be in their cars going to and from work.
Right.
They are either going to be working from home or they want mass transit to take them to and from work. So many people who live in Tega Cay go to South Boulevard and get on the light rail. They drive from Tega Cay to South Boulevard, get on the light rail, and then go into Charlotte and work. We need to figure a way of getting that light rail from South Boulevard into, you know, the Fort Mill, Tega Cay, Rock Hill area And it can be done. You know, the current administration has $1 trillion that they're looking to put towards mass transportation. How do we dip into that? How do we get part of that? And let's do mass transit from Rock Hill up to Baxter, Baxter over to Kingsley, Kingsley over to where Knight Stadium used to be, the Cato project, and then take that into Pineville. That's something that I've been trying to drive home with the RFATS community for several months now, and they're just starting to look at it. You know, it's met some resistance, but now more and more people are thinking maybe this is the way we need to go.
Beginning around the lake, you know, and enjoying all the outside activities that the lake just promotes and includes. But you're seeing an opportunity with some development in terms of stretching the opportunity for athletics and arts in a new project.
Game On project,
Game On,
which is on Dam Road there. We're going to do the Game On project, which is exciting. It's going to have a boutique hotel. It's going to have some apartments
Another
in it.
hotel.
Correct. A boutique. It's a small hotel. It's not going to be a huge hotel. It's going to be a small hotel. Movie theater. It's going to have some apartments, but the majority of the apartments are going to be used by the folks who are using the athletic equipments that are there. And, you know, part of that is the Olympic swim team is going to come and practice. So they need places to stay. So
now,
it's
what
not
time frame are we talking about?
We're hoping we're going to be able to break ground on this soon. We really are. It all depends upon the land that's around there.
Okay.
My understanding is the developer owns probably about 80% of the land right now. He just wants to make sure that he has all the land that he can move forward with it.
Gotcha.
So.
Now, what I hear from you is the benefits of having open communication with the developer, because a lot of times you can't start negotiating until you have a starting point.
Correct.
And the developers come and they present to the council, and then the council takes the plan, the comprehensive plan that Tega Cay has developed.
Correct. We adopted.
Working with, didn't the Catawba area?
The COG worked with us for our comprehensive plan.
Really looking ahead.
We had residents come and talk to us what they wanted to see in the city.
Right.
They worked with the planning commission, they worked with the city administration, they worked with council, and they came up with a plan of what we want. And we followed that comprehensive plan. It's not a plan that's a binder that sits on the shelf and never gets looked at again.
It's fluid.
It's a living document. We have to continue to work on it. As a matter of fact, the town of Fort Mill is going to start their comprehensive plan very shortly. And they're going to be working on their plans for what they envision. And you know, the other thing that you mentioned is that a developer will go to someone who owns land and has owned the land for years.
We live in America.
Correct. And it's property owners' rights. And if the developer goes and he talks to someone about buying the land, the developer has to get the most money he can get back for the land. Land now is expensive.
Right.
There's not a lot of it. So the developers want to get as much as they possibly can. And unfortunately, residential gets them more money for their land as opposed to commercial. The reverse side is, it is cheaper for me to service commercial than it is for me to service residential. So it's a catch-22 in there, and we try and do a PDD, planned development agreement, where we have both commercial and residential at the same time, which is what we're trying to do with a lot of these things.
Right.
The Windhaven project, which is just off of Gold Hill Road, will have commercial, will have residential, and hopefully we'll have a school in there. Tega Cay Middle School will hopefully go in there soon.
What would be an example of a model that we are? Baxter. Okay,
Baxter.
so Baxter would be an example of a mixed-use community.
Right.
And look how well.
And look how well that goes.
Yes.
But even if you take the light rail and you get on and you go up into Charlotte, you're going to see where that light rail is, all the developments of commercial on the bottom, residential on the top.
Lifestyle.
You know, it's a lifestyle, and that's what the next generation is looking for. They're not looking for the 20 acres, 10 acres, quarter acre. They don't want to maintain the house right now.
No.
You know, so let's give the next generation, the millennial generation, what they want. Because if they're not here, they're going somewhere else to get it.
Now, you mentioned in council there's a little bit of a divide. Tell me what's going on there. What are the issues?
It's basically around growth. Basically around growth. There are some that feel that, you know, Tega Cay is...
Moratorium?
Moratorium is a difficult word. It really is. And that's why it needs to be more of a planned growth. Moratorium is harsh. It's a finite thing. And how do you do a moratorium? You're entering into property owners' rights. Exactly. So, Patti, you own 27 acres. You know, you should be able to sell to who you want.
Especially if it's already zoned for what I'm proposing.
Right. So,
Right.
how do you do a moratorium on something like that?
Now, I see such an effort, a really great effort by Tega Cay to keep residents informed. Very opportunities to be on social media, from Facebook to Twitter. You've got your police department. I mean, it's like everybody's kind of rallying together to get the information out.
We need to get our residents as informed as we possibly can. I joke about it being the book of face, because everybody looks at that as the Bible of the way things are. But the city's into Facebook. I have my own Facebook page, my mayor's Facebook page. The police department has their Facebook page. The utility department has their Facebook page. The fire department has a Facebook page. We're tweeting out. We're on Instagram. We do a city rewind, which is done by Katie Polson, our assistant city manager. And she
does a great job.
She does a phenomenal job. And what she does is she takes what happened last week, and she sends it to you on a Saturday morning. So when you're sitting there and you're drinking your coffee, you can see what happened in the city last week and what's going on and what to expect next week. And it keeps people informed about what's going on. It's really important. We take our council meetings, we air them live on channel 115, and I think the other is 127, which is outside the city limits. And then we also put them on YouTube. And we have them on YouTube, and you can watch them anytime you want. They're on the city website as well.
And you can come to them. You come live.
What we're finding is that a lot of people don't come because they don't have the time. We try and communicate as best we can. And if there's something out there that we're not communicating with, please tell us what it is. We'll figure it out. We'll make it work to communicate.
Absolutely. Tell me about the coyotes.
So we found another guy, Song Dog, I think is the name, which is strangely enough, which is what coyotes are called, song dogs. And he came and he said that he could trap the coyotes. If you look on the city's website, you'll see how he traps the coyotes, because we asked him to display it and demonstrate it, and he demonstrated how to do it. We put it on the website, and we invited people to come and look at it.
What was the response?
The response, strangely enough, when we were talking about this whole thing, people were like, yeah, do it, you gotta do it. Now that we're doing it, we're getting the opposite response. I can't believe you're doing this to the poor coyotes. So, as someone here said to me today, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Well, to date, we've trapped 4 coyotes.
So speaking of immediate projects that are going to help everybody in terms of commute, lifestyle, running of the errands, Hubert Graham Parkway.
Hubert Graham Parkway is named after the second mayor of the city of Tega Cay.
Oh, okay.
It was the first Pennies for Progress.
The first?
The first Pennies for Progress. And the county was down in its count for passage of Pennies for Progress. Hubert Graham got involved, and the city of Tega Cay basically passed the first Pennies for Progress because of the votes and because of him. So we've decided to name it Hubert Graham Way.
I'm so glad you shared that.
So that's kind of a neat thing. Hubert Graham Way is in the process of being completed, and we hope to be running the first car on Hubert Graham Way late May, early June.
Fantastic. And this is an alternative to going out on 160.
Well, what you can do is you can come out of the peninsula of Tega Cay, go on to Hubert Graham Way, do the circle, and that'll take you on to 160.
And then in November, we've got Pennies 4 coming up for a vote.
Still waiting for the Pennies Commission to come across and tell us what the projects are. My understanding is we'll know about those in May when they present them to the county council, what those roads are that the Pennies for Progress will look at.
And Tega Cay had to present your top priorities, correct?
We did, and one of the top priorities that we put in was extending Hubert Graham Way.
Okay.
Taking Hubert Graham Way over to Zor Road.
Nice.
Which would be very nice for us to do as well. So that was one of the projects that we entertained.
Well, that's it for this edition of Carmen Miller's Talk of the Town Carolinas. If you're thinking about moving to our area or just want to look at beautiful homes, simply go to homesfortmill.com. But when you want to check out what's going on in Tega Cay, make sure to talk to this guy, Mayor George Sheppard of Tega Cay. Until next time, this is Patti Mercer and
George Sheppard.
bye-bye.